I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into the game-changing science of lag putting. I'm talking to a terrific author and a great golfer. His name is Bob Labbe, and his book is called Putting by the Numbers, a quantitative method of lag putting. It offers a revolutionary, data-driven approach to improving your golf game, helping players shave 4 to 5 strokes off their score. Whether you're a weekend golfer or a competitive player, this method could be the key to unlocking your best putting performance yet. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Bob, thanks so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Logan, thank you for having me. I look forward to our discussion.
It's my pleasure, sir. Lag putting. For a lot of people, they might be unclear as to what that term means. Let's start out by talking about that. What is lag putting and why is it crucial to lowering scores?
Well, lag putting is simply another word for long distance putting. And most recreational golfers and amateur golfers are not good enough to hit the ball from the fairway close to the pin. So us amateurs and recreational golfers, when we get on the green, we're usually a long way from the hole or we're off the green. So 50% of the game can be putting in strokes. So to be a really good golfer, you got to be a really good putter. And that's where people who don't play the game every day, like the touring pros, have a problem because you don't get the practice, you don't get the repetition. And that's the reason I wrote the book, because I had that problem when I started playing golf in 1996. I was doing great with the rest of the game, but my lag putting was causing me to score in the mid to high 90s. So I had to do something.
And you introduce physics and engineering mechanics to your game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I'm an engineer from Georgia Tech, and I graduated way back in 1968. And I've been in the air pollution control field all my life. So we did a lot of engineering mechanics, a lot of physics type stuff in the work we did. And I knew that I had to do something with my lag putting because it was so bad. I was putting between 40 and 44 strokes around, and that was causing me to score in the 90s. So I had to invent something. And so the inspiration for doing it was actually to improve my game. And I did that between 1996 and 2002. And then I had a bunch of friends. We were playing the R.J. Jones Trail, Robert T. Jones Trail in Alabama. And Mike Beck was the first one. I made a 93-foot putt on a terrace green, had 3 different terraces on it. And he saw me walk it off, and he saw me make the putt. And he said, "You got to write a book about that." And I said, "Well, I was just luck, Mike." He said, "No, it wasn't luck. I saw what you did." So that was the first outside inspiration I had. And then I started taking notes. And I've been compiling notes for 25 years before I wrote the book.
Tell us how you simplified a scientific approach to make it accessible for all golfers.
Well, that's a good question. And I knew that to be effective for every golfer that plays the game, it had to be simple. Okay. Yeah. And so I took this is basically a force friction method of establishing your own ability, what I call your individual power factor, which is the removal of the putter from the ball and striking through the ball. Everybody has a different power factor. And the friction on the green, the first cut of rough, fairway, it's all different. But what's cool about this method, it is linear and reproducible. And then you do everything but just arithmetic. For instance, my IPF in my basement at my home is 1 inch of retraction for 11 feet of travel on my carpet downstairs. And I do that when I go out and I can play any golf course in the world. and play it like it's my home course, because I go there 30 minutes before I play and I putt on the green, first cut of rough, the fringe, and the fairway to see what the travel distance is for each inch of retraction with my putter. And that gives, and it's all arithmetic. So if if you're 33 feet away and you putt 11 feet per inch, you retract your putter 3 inches and you got it. Hmm. And invariably, my method is virtually guaranteeing you that your first putt will be within 3 to 5 foot of the hole. And then all you got to do the rest of your game is practice 3 to 5 foot putting, and you'll make 2 putts every time.
Wonderful, wonderful. And in your book, you break down step by step how you go through the arithmetic to get to that level of being within 3 to 5 feet of the hole.
Absolutely, I do that. And plus, I have 2 tutorial videos that are free and attached to the book. You can go on my website at puttingbythenumbers.com and look at my 2 videos free, and I show you what I do. Then if that's interesting to you, then I would recommend you buy the book and get all the details.
Well, I recommend you buy the book anyway, because I think it's a good supplement for those videos, no doubt.
Yeah.
This is really a game changer. Do you think the pros already utilize this, or is this something unique you've come up with? Have any pros approached you saying, how would this work for me, that kind of thing? Tell us a little bit about that world.
Well, the pros, they play golf at least 5 days a week in season, and they have that feel, touch, athletic ability to putt. But I see a lot of pros missing long putts. And instead of 2-putting, 3-putting, what ruins their chances to win the tournament. So, the closest guy on the tour that is kind of a quantitative guy like me is Bryson DeChambeau. Okay. And back many years ago, Johnny Miller was doing some commentating on one of the pro tour tournaments, and Bryson DeChambeau was 93 feet away from the pin, and it was an undulating green. And Johnny Miller said, "Hey, I don't know how he's going to make this putt because there's no book about how to make this putt." And I felt like writing Johnny an email and saying, "Well, there's a book now."
Exactly. How much time do you feel a golfer needs to dedicate to see real improvement when utilizing your method?
Well, I think everybody's you got to try it first and see if it's for you. And it's because it's arithmetic and it's simple, it can be for everybody. But what I recommend is that you practice 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week for 6 weeks. And you do that in home or on course, depending on the weather conditions. And you decide whether or not you have the quantitative ability to visualize an inch to 12 inches on a ruler. If you can step off a step to know how far the putt is, and if you can develop your own individual power factor. If you can do those things, I will guarantee you will cut at least 4 or 5 strokes. In my case, I shot last year 30.5 putts per round.
Wow.
And I'm a 7 handicap now.
Awesome.
At 81 years old.
That's great. That's
and
amazing.
You know what?
Yep.
I got to tell you this, Logan. The first time in my life I shot par last year in October, 72, at age 80.
Amazing.
So
great.
I'm pretty happy with my putting.
That's great. That's great. And you didn't pick up golf until a little bit later in life. You weren't playing at 18 years old.
I was 52 years old when I picked up the game. So, but one of the things I had to do, and the reason it took me so long to write this book, is I had to be sure that what I was putting down in writing was real, and it's reproducible, and it's linear. And that's what makes it. You can go on any golf course in the world and this works. And so that's what's so cool about it.
As far as judging the distance to the hole, do you sometimes use any kind of scope or anything? How do you measure that? Does it have to be that precise?
Well, you could do it a couple ways. One thing about this method, you don't take any more time than any other golfer that's putting, because I step off every putt because my gait is such that I step off a yard. I'm 6'1", and I use step a yard when I'm playing golf. And
Mhm.
so if I'm 40 feet from the hole, I 13 steps. I know it's about a 40-foot putt.
Gotcha.
Okay, if I know it's putting 20 foot per inch, I'll use a 2-inch retraction. So yeah, you can either do that or you can use your rangefinder so you don't have to make the steps.
Right.
But any golfer, when you're putting a long distance putt, you need to look at the putt from where you're standing, walk to the other side of the hole, look at the other way, and look at the putt from the side. Then you'll have all the information you need to know how to make a good putt.
Awesome. Amazing stuff. Great work on this book and putting together this method, Bob. The name of the book is Putting by the Numbers, a quantitative method of lag putting. It offers a revolutionary, data-driven approach to improving your golf game, helping players shave 4 to 5 strokes off their score. Whether you're a weekend golfer or a competitive player, this method could be the key to unlocking your best performance yet. And you heard Bob, he recently shot par for the course. First time ever, right?
That's right. That's right.
Amazing. Well,
I was trying to do as good as Bob Hope, but I did better.
absolutely. Bob Texaco Hope, without a doubt. Very, very good, Bob. Thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan.
Pleasure's
Appreciate you having me.
great having you on the show, sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.